Hi everybody. This is my first time doing a video, so um, I wanted to do something to talk about AFIB and what I've experienced, because when I was diagnosed there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, there was some stuff online, but I wasn't really familiar with it, and it's been a real journey with this condition, and I thought I'd put something out there to help others. If I am able to get this on YouTube, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to do that. Anyway, my name is Allison, and I live in Illinois, born and raised in Connecticut, and I was diagnosed with AFIB in 2017 in Connecticut. I was actually having palpitations on and off during that year quite a lot, and I also have, I was diagnosed previous to that with general anxiety disorder. So I kind of thought the palpitations maybe were related to anxiety, or maybe were related to my age, being that I'm, getting close to menopause, blah, blah, blah. So palpitations would come and go, but they weren't anything that I felt, was alarming necessarily. I just thought it was something I was going through. And then one day it was a Sunday, I was at church, and the palpitations were happening. My heart was racing, and I was in a relaxed atmosphere. I was at church, and I started to feel very, very lightheaded, very uncomfortable, and I wasn't sure if maybe I was having a heart attack or about to have a heart attack. So I called my spouse, and off we went to the emergency room. They did an EKG, and I believe this was in July of 2017. The ER doc came in and said, "Well, you have AFib." And I didn't really know what that was. I said, "What the hell is that?" So he told me that it's a heart condition, and that I'd have to see a cardiologist, which I did. I followed up with a cardiologist, and the cardiologist in Connecticut told me that he recommended having a procedure called an ablation done, and he described the procedure to me, and at that time we were talking about moving out here to Illinois, and I was afraid of the procedure, and I thought, okay, well, let's go on the meds and see how I do with that. And so I went on the meds, which is, he prescribed me a Tylenol, 50 milligrams a day. And for a while that was okay. It didn't completely make it go away, obviously, but it slowed down some of the symptoms. And then, we moved out here in September of that year, and then anyway, the symptoms just kept getting worse after that, and now February of 2019, I had gotten to the point where the atenolol was still working somewhat, but the symptoms were becoming worse, and I was tired of dealing with them. And so my cardiologist here gave me a name of a doctor electrophysiologist, I think that's what you call it. So I went to see him late January last month, and he said he could fit me in for the ablation in about 2 weeks. So we picked February 14th for Valentine's Day. We thought maybe that would be a good omen. That was actually last Thursday. So Today is Tuesday following my ablation procedure, and I'm still, I'm still weak and dealing with recovery, and it's a bit slow. I'm a bit slow moving around in that. He thinks that he got all of it, but I can tell you a little bit more about the procedure and my feelings about it and what I was feeling up to that point. Hearing the details of the procedure is quite frightening because they tell you, of course, they're going to go in through catheters in your groin area and feed those catheters up into your heart, and then they'll inflate a balloon. Once they're in the left upper quadrant of the heart, they inflate a small balloon, and they fill that with, I believe, nitroglycerin, and they burn, freeze, which it's so cold that it burns certain areas of the heart that, where those signals are coming in that causes the AFIB. The days up until the procedure, I was extremely nervous. I was scared. There were many tears. But the day of the procedure, I don't know. I was better about it. I knew, okay, this is going to happen, and hopefully after, I'll be given a new lease on life. So they, got me in there, and I guess there's a few details helpful to know, which is because they go in the groin area, they will shave you in your private area. That's something they have to do, so be prepared for that. They put an IV in you, and with me, they, I kissed my loved one goodbye and see you later, and the doctor came out and said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm petrified." He said, "Well, no worries. We'll get you through this just fine." And they wheeled me into rolled me into the operating room. And I wasn't given anything just yet. And the operating room was amazing. They had everything, all these, they had a huge screen TV, which I'm assuming is so they can see everything about your heart while the procedure's going on. There was a lot of doctors, nurses, whatever in there, probably about 10 or so. The anesthesiologist, of course, talked to me, said that, he's going to give me something to relax me initially, and then it'll be, lights out. And that's pretty much what happened. But they had me kind of scoot over to the table, and they put all these things on me. They do put some pads on your chest, which don't let that scare you. It's part of the procedure, which I don't think they had to use on me. What they do is after they do the ablation, they want to test your heart to make sure that they got everything, and they I think they inject like adrenaline or something you don't feel anything, you're asleep, to see if your heart will react or if there'll be any AFib activity. With me, after he did the ablation, they tried it, and they were not able to get any reaction that way from my heart, so I don't think they had to use the pads. What they do with the pads is, if you do go into AFib, to get you out of it, I guess they shock you out of it. But I don't believe they had to do that with me. So anyhow, sorry about my appearance, but I'm laying very low these days. Anyhow, so that was the 14th, and after the procedure, the next thing I knew, I was coming to, and the doctor was leaning over me, and he said, "You did great," and then they wheel you up into your room. Sometimes, in some of these procedures, you might go to ICU. With me, they didn't. They brought me to my regular room. I did have to stay overnight in the hospital. I won't lie, the first night was a little rough. I was coming off the anesthesia. I didn't really have a reaction, but excuse me, but I did have some tremors coming off the anesthesia. That's just something you might not experience. It's something that I do experience when I come off of anesthesia. The nurses were great in the hospital, and they check your vitals. Like every couple of hours, they're, taking your blood pressure, your temperature, and all that stuff. So, needless to say, the first night didn't get a whole lot of rest. But, and you're feeling, your heart is kind of, don't let this scare you, but, you're feeling like you always have, like the AFib things going on, right? So that your heart is kind of going. And, but don't let that scare you. It's not anything different if you have AFib than what you felt, with AFib. And it's just because the heart was traumatized, and, it's figuring things out, and, trying to, there's inflammation probably in there and that kind of thing. Next day, I was still feeling, some AFib, but it just felt like I felt before the operation, basically. Just, I think, more frequent with the palpitations. Doctor said that's normal. That's going to calm down after a while. I went home the next day in the afternoon, and, just very, very slow, moving around. Kind of felt like I got run over by a truck. Again, don't let that scare you. It's just, you're going to be tired. This is your heart. They've messing around with your heart. You're going to be tired, So you just have to take it really easy. I'm still taking it easy, except I am supposed to go back to work tomorrow. Thank goodness I work from home, so hopefully that's going to work out well for me. Today is Tuesday, so let's see. I had the procedure last Thursday. So Thursday was the procedure, overnight in the hospital. Friday went home. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 6 days today? 6th day. I'm not ready certainly for running any marathons. I have a follow-up appointment at the beginning of March with the doctor who did the procedure. I'll be talking to him at that point about, okay, when can I start? I do want to start some exercise, moderate exercise, nothing too crazy. I want to lose some weight. I want to do better by my heart, lose weight, take the pressure off my heart, eat better. I am trying to eat better. That's about it. One day at a time. I guess I searched a lot before I went for the procedure to hear people's experiences. Again, I was very afraid. I wasn't sure, really what to expect. Some of the videos from people really helped. I did learn a lot about the fact that these procedures are done from people that are young with AFib all the way up to people who are 80-something years old, which when I heard that, I couldn't believe it. It did kind of help, I guess. I mean, I'm 52. Not that that's real old, but kind of in the middle, I guess. But, hearing that an 80-plus-year-old person could go through this procedure and come out the other side, to me, was amazing. It's, I don't have a lot of energy yet, but, I'm not at my normal energy level, which I'm assuming is actually going to, from this procedure, I'm assuming that my energy level is going to be a lot better because I'm not going to be dealing with the tiredness of the AFib episodes. So definitely looking forward to feeling a lot stronger soon. So that's pretty much my story. I really hope maybe some of this information helps whoever's out there facing this or dealing with AFib. I guess with me, I was diagnosed about a year ago or so, and the doctor thinks that I caught it fairly early, which is really important because one thing I can leave as far as a message to anyone out there who's dealing with this: do not procrastinate the procedure. The procedure it sounds scary, but I learned that it is a progressive thing with AFib. So if you wait, the longer you wait, the more it's going to progress, and the if you wait too long, then it becomes a more complicated procedure, harder for them to where you don't have to go back for another one. I hope I don't have to go back for another one. So if you can catch this thing early, do it. Get it done. It does sound scary, but once you get through it, it's not. And you feel, I did feel some differences already in just circulation, I think. Inflammation, like I used to have some inflammation around my ankles. That's gone. I'm assuming it's because of this. I'm assuming some other things as I get stronger that I'm going to see some noticeable differences with. I'm mostly looking forward to having more energy and being able to do more things. I want to be able to go hiking and things like that with my spouse and just enjoy life more. So again, just don't put it off. Don't let it scare you away. Get on top of it. Get it done. And move on with the rest of your life. Again, I hope this video helped. I'm not very good at the videos, so forgive me. But anyway, best of luck. Ciao.